I'm going to list some of my favorite high yield ETFs that maybe you should consider adding to your portfolio. It's Valentine's Day, baby. Let's talk about the ones that I love. This is Mike, the tactical stock scalper. All right. Well, first up, one of my favorite funds out of all of them. I'm talking. We're going to limit this to Defiance, Yield Max, and I got a wild card I'm going to throw in there. First one, though, for me is AMZY, AMZ. I think Amazon is a great company. If you go look at Amazon's earnings for the past few years, you'll understand why. But AMZ just does a great job, YieldMax does, following Amazon. And I don't know if it's the right amount of volatility, the right amount of IV, they're doing the right options. I don't know. But AMZY pays a decent dividend. It follows the underlying really well. So, yeah. Happy Valentine's Day, my lover. I'm giving my number one to AMZ. All right. Number two. This one is your daddy. I mean, it's definitely one of my favorites. Man, I just love this one. And that is QQQY. Look, we're selling puts on an index that goes up over time. And we're selling daily puts. 0 DTEs. Well, they're actually 1 DTE, but I digress. They can change the strikes depending upon how the market's reacting each day. That's a huge weapon. Now, it does have some weaknesses, like when the markets go up, it doesn't follow NDX as well as, like, say, something like JEPQ, right? But the dividends are great. The price of the ETF is great. And it's following an index. And we all know how safe an index is over time. Even if an index has a bad month, 6 months, year, 2 years, we know that index will come back over. We can say this with a fact because that's what's happened since the 1800s. Not necessarily with the NASDAQ, of course, but with the market in general. Maybe consider adding QQQY. Now, my next one. A lot of people do not like this one, but it's because they don't understand the underlying, and that is IWMY. People just don't like it. And because it trades in a channel, what I mean by that is it'll go up here to this point, sell off, come down to this point, people buy it back up, meaning the Russell, and then go back up here, sell off again, come back down. People end up buying at the top of this channel because they see it rising, and for like 3-4 weeks, whatever, in a row, and then it goes down for that amount of time, and people just absolutely, oh, it's trash. It's not trash. They just don't understand how the Russell moves. It moves in channels. It's not cyclical like the NASDAQ or the Dow Jones or the S&P. It's a totally different animal. So for me, because I understand, and I got tons of videos on my channel on how to buy IWMY, so check those out. So for me, IWMY is my third. I'm way up on it, and I'm way up on QQQY. I love them. Absolutely love them. If you like my content, it's Valentine's Day, baby. Caress the like button. Maybe even consider subscribing. I would truly appreciate it. All right, next. MSFO is a bad mofo, baby. It is incredible. It is just like AMZ. They do a great job, meaning Yield Max, with the MSFO fund. It is absolutely incredible. The dividends are good. They're not like astronomical, but they're good. And it does a decent job of following the underlying. Whether or not you like Microsoft as a company, guys are in so many computers worldwide, people are essentially stuck with them. Maybe consider MSFO. My next one is not a Yield Max fund. It's not a Defiance fund, but I absolutely love it. Now, the dividends aren't great, but they're good. That is SVOL, SVOL. Why do I like it so much? Well, number one, it shorts the VIX. What the VIX is, it is a relative, that's, okay. The VIX, when volatility rises, the VIX spikes. Well, oftentimes because the markets go up over time, volatility decreases. Shorting the VIX is a wonderful way to make money. Because yeah, the VIX will spike during certain events or when the market's really crashing, but that's for a limited amount of time. You can feel really secure trading or shorting the VIX. Plus, ESOL has a thing within its operation, okay, within its modus operandus of some other instruments that it uses. So if the VIX spikes too hard, okay, it can hedge against it. Maybe consider ESOL pays roughly 30 cents, and it costs you, 30 cents a share. And it, ranges in price from $20 to $23. It really stays in a zone. So much like IWMY, if you can buy it at the bottom of its channel, you could sell it when it gets to the top, collect dividends, and then redo it all again if you wanted to. So definitely consider ESOL. I got 4 honorable mentions that I want to talk about. Next one may surprise you. Aptly. APLY. Now, the dividends aren't great on Aptly, but I think Apple as a company is just fine. It's wonderful. It's great. They're always coming out with new innovative products. Some people really love Apple. Some people detest Apple. I don't care. I think they're fine. I have no problems with Apple, right? So, with that being said, their dividends are just okay, but Aptly, again with YieldMax, does a great job of following the underlying with Apple. Maybe you check out Aptly as a stabilizer in your account. Next, JEPY, J-E-P-Y. It also kind of gets a little hate because it doesn't pay a huge dividend, but it's doing, for a Defiance fund, a pretty good job of managing its own share price. It really doesn't fluctuate a ton. The S&P isn't nearly as volatile as a NASDAQ, right? So that helps with it. And you're in the S&P 100. There's no better index in my mind out there than the S&P. JEPY, maybe consider adding that to your account. Again, the dividends aren't super great, right? But again, it's a stabilizer. It'll keep your account stable as long as the market's, fluctuating sideways or going up. Now, the markets don't always go up, and people will experience this very soon, right? They don't always go up. There are periods where the market goes down. So yes, QQQY and JEPY will suffer during that. But so will 90% of other stocks because they're in the markets and the markets are going down. Just the way it works. 2, and I'm going to kind of lump them as one. AMDY/NVDY. AMD/NVIDIA. Guys are both really good. And again, even though there's more volatility with these than, say, Aptly or MSFO or AMZY, YieldMax is doing a pretty decent job with these as well. For all the hate YieldMax gets for Tesla, right? Because Tesla has been going down for 2 years in a row. They do a great job with most of their funds. I really want to own NVIDIA, but it's doing so great, it keeps rocketing up. I can't buy into it yet. According to my plan, I need it to come down. But maybe consider any of these, if you don't have any of these I mentioned, and research them, look at their underlyings, and see what you think. Happy Valentine's Day to all the lovers out there. Here's a Mike, Tactical Stock Scalper, out.